Welcome to IGH Going Rogue. Today's Monday, March the 3rd, and what a weekend, man. I guess Friday. Friday was incredible. We saw fireworks, an entire spectacle, a debacle. Zelensky proved, I think, to everybody in the world that he is not seeking peace, that, like everybody has been saying for a long time, that is probably the most corrupt country in the world, and probably a lot of the money is being stolen. That seems to be the general consent, as well as the fact that there's a lot of rumors about the weapons that we have been giving them going out the back door for 20 cents on the dollar. So, in order to talk about this and make sense of all this, we have Ron Aledo. Ron, welcome to Going Rogue. Ron's background, as everybody knows, he's a former, intelligence officer with the Army, has been with DIA, CIA, a whole bunch of the agencies, knows this part of the world very, very closely. What a disaster, dude.
Well, it was a disaster for Zelensky, but it was actually a good outcome for the United States. So the United States can see how different and how opposite the world view of President Trump and Vice President Vance is in opposition to the world view of Zelensky and what the neocons are trying to do. And the whole world, the United States and the whole world, they could see the great difference, the two opposed views, world views, what to do, where we are, who we are, where are we going to go. So the whole world view the divorce on live TV. So that is not a disaster. That was good, actually. It was a disaster for the globalists. It was a disaster for the neocons. It was a disaster for the godless, secularist, post-Christian Europe. Yeah, for the neocons of Europe, the know-nothing of Europe, it was a disaster. But for us, we actually could see the truth in front of our faces.
Amazing. Hey, Mr. Producer, why don't you show us that video so we can laugh through it and talk through it as well.
Now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
All right. Well, I think everybody's seen that probably 100 times. One more time is not going to be bad, but amazing. So walk us through. All he really had to do was come in, sign this mineral deal. It was a first step to really resolve some issues, but he didn't. I think that clearly proves, Ron, that he's not seeking peace, that he wants to stay in control, and he's probably making a lot of money off of this war.
Listen, I saw the whole video, the whole 50 minutes. I saw it several times.
Yeah.
The whole thing, not only the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes where they are actually in a heated argument, that is just the culmination of 50 minutes of confrontation. It was soft-spoken confrontation, but it was a direct confrontation of two different worldviews, of two very different objectives, two different missions. And this is basically what happened. From the very start, Donald Trump just came with one objective. We are going to seek peace. We're going to seek a compromise. We're going to seek negotiations. That's it. You are here, sign the minerals agreement, so the United States will have some kind of, let's call it, economical interest in helping you, in supporting you. So this is not for free. So we have some benefit for the American people. So let's do that. Let's going to seek peace. Let's going to seek negotiation. Let's going to seek a compromise. I'm here as a peacemaker. I'm here as to break peace. To help you establish peace between Russia and your country. That was President Trump from the very beginning. Zelensky, on the other hand, had a completely different agenda, completely different mission, completely different objective. And what Zelensky was looking for the whole 50 minutes was what he had been looking for, and the same speech that he had been saying hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times, all around the world, in Europe, in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, everywhere. A world that is white and black. Russia, bad, bad. We, good, good. Give us a lot of money. Give us a lot of weapons. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what Zelensky was looking for. That was Zelensky were objectives, and that is what created the tension. Because every time that Trump says something in his worldview, in his mission, we need to a compromise. We need to make a deal. We need to have the debt stop.
Yeah.
A lot of young people are dying. We need to stop. Zelensky immediately came with a counter to the American people, to the press, to the president. I don't want ceasefire. I can never accept ceasefire. Look the picture, how bad Russia is. And Putin is a terrorist, and Putin is a killer, and a terrorist, an assassin. And I don't want a ceasefire. And I have a very low air defenses. I need more air defenses. Give me more air defenses, more patience.
Yeah, it's just more. Give me, right?
The same automatic robotic speech of the last 3 years that he have said 1,000 times in Europe, in London, in Paris, with Biden, in Congress, everywhere he have been, in Berlin. Russia's bad, we are good, I need more weapons and more money. Please, come on. That's it. But he failed to read the room. He failed, maybe he knows the room, but he was trying to put pressure on Trump. He was trying to put pressure in front of the cameras, in front of the media.
And that's the wrong thing to do with Trump anyways, right? So
nobody can do that. Nobody. Nobody in this world can do that. But much less Zelensky. Come on. And he was trying to put pressure in front of the media, in front of the camera. Look how bad Trump is. Look at the pictures. He's very bad, very bad. We are very good, very good. Now, the war is white and black. Very simple. Now give me more money. Give me air defenses. I'm not going to take any ceasefire. And every time, for 50 minutes, the tension was growing and growing and growing because he was contradicting everything that Trump was saying. Yeah. We need to. I cannot call Putin horrible names, terrible names, because then I cannot call him, hey, Vlad, how's it going? Let's go to the deal. The world doesn't work like that. And every time that Trump says something like that, then immediately Zelensky came to contradict. Putin is terrible. He's assassin. We need more air defenses. We need more weapons. And that's what increased the tension until Vice President Vance was there. He was listening to this tension. Marco Rubio was listening to this tension growing, this conflict of worldviews, of objective. And then Vice President Vance said, okay, we need diplomacy. For 3 years, Biden was just talking and insulting Putin and declaring war. Listen, where we are, 1.5 million people dead. We need to stop this. And then Zelensky put the final nail on the coffin when he began to challenge Vance, Vice President Vance. He said, what kind of diplomacy are you talking about? What kind of diplomacy? Hey, have you been in Ukraine? Yeah. And that Trump could not take it anymore. Listen, you have been contradicting me, talking over me, contradicting my objective, coming here with a propaganda tour, with the pictures and stuff. That's perfect. Okay, the propaganda is what all you have been doing for the last 3 years, brainwashing dozens of millions of people around the world. That's not going to work with me. That's not going to work with Vice President Vance, J.D. Vance. So shut up, okay? Shut up. You have been messing with me since the very start of this conference for the last 50 minutes, contradicting me, saying stuff against me, playing the tough guy. That's it. And he could not handle it anymore because the guy was just in his own worldview. He thought that Trump was Biden.
Yeah.
And Biden, this word for Biden and all the neocons, all the globalists, and this word for Scholz in Germany, and for now the Merz in Germany, and for Macron. Putin bad, we good, the war is white and black, give me more money. That's it. And that didn't work with Trump.
Yep. And there's also some tension there, right? Because J.D. Vance brought it up, and you said you went out there and you campaigned for our opponent, in October, and and he's cozying up with the Democrats in Congress, and everybody's
and betting the farm on.
Yeah, everybody's grifting and making money off of this, and he thinks that Trump is going to be the same. That he's going to also get money or get paid from this, and that's not Trump's game. And it was very, very clear. I think you saw Bissent yesterday on Face the Nation say that deal's no longer on the table. This morning, Zelensky saying that he's ready to sign the deal right now. What's going to happen? I don't know. I mean, what do you think happens? I think, Trump told him, he goes, okay, well, you don't want peace. You're on your own. You're going to have to fight it out. It's going to be your problem, but not with our help and not with our weapons and not with our money.
Listen, Zelensky is in a state of denial. He's in his own bubble. Okay. I mean, it's a bubble that he shares with many people, but still it's a bubble. Okay. A lot of people saying that the moon is made of cheese doesn't make the moon made of cheese. Okay, he's still in his imaginary bubble, in his alternative reality. Yes, all the neocons, all the globalists of Europe are with him in the same bubble, in the same denial of reality. But that doesn't make it right. Just because a lot of people is wrong, that doesn't make it right. And this is what happened. Zelensky is desperate.
Yeah.
And that desperation is what we saw Friday at the White House.
Desperate in what way? Desperate in what way? That he's losing power?
He's losing the war. He's having terrible, horrific casualties. And everything, and this is the desperation, everything that Biden told him, he sees that it's not true. Everything that Biden told him that will happen, he has seen that it's not happening. Let me explain you. The war, this phase of the war, the actual war began in 2014 with the Maidan coup, with the USAID, the USA, the same USA that Trump is now cutting. During years, they gave up to $5 billion in anti-Russian propaganda in Ukraine. What they call democratic education is basically propaganda programs. That's it. To turn the Ukrainian people against Russia. And then finally, in February 2014, just 2 months after Russia signs a peace agreement with Ukraine, with Yanukovych, the president, the true president, democratically elected president of Ukraine, they signed it on 17 December 2013. Then in February 2014, Victoria Nuland, USAID, George Soros, Obama, they all create this coup. And that is what really started this war. They wanted to make Ukraine a puppet, a marionette of Obama and the West. But the real hot phase of this war started on 2022, on 24 February 2022. What happened? In March 2022, 4 weeks after the war started, this war was about to end. Zelensky has a diplomatic delegation, and Putin has a very strong diplomatic delegation in Istanbul, in Turkey, in March of 2022, just 4 weeks after the war started. And they already have a draft, a peace agreement, peace agreement that was very soft, very moderate. Ukraine should not become part of NATO, should become neutral, because we need a buffer between Russia and NATO, so stay neutral. And number two, give freedom to the Ukrainians of the south and the east. The Ukrainians of the south, of the east, of the Donbass, they don't want anything to do with your regime. They see themselves as Russian, they speak Russian, they belong to the Russian Orthodox Church. They see that part of Ukraine as historic, part of Russia for centuries and centuries, not just the Soviet Union, but the Russian Empire for centuries. give them freedom and stay neutral. Do not become part of NATO. That's it. And that was very close to be signed in March of 2022 in Istanbul, Turkey. What happened? Joseph Biden, whoever his handlers are, and Boris Johnson, from at that time the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom,
Yep.
go directly to Zelensky. Biden sends Boris Johnson to fly in a desperate flight to Kiev, and they tell him over there, do not sign the peace. And Zelensky, I'm sure he said, what are you talking about? We're very close to sign the peace and end the war. No. Do not sign the peace. We're going to give you hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, thousands of millions of dollars until the end. We're going to give you all kinds of weapons and intelligence and pictures and satellite spy and drones and whatever. You are going to defeat Russia. You will see. You're going to kick out Russia. Fight until the last Ukrainian. Are you sure? Yes, you have the word. Cross my heart of the United States and cross my heart the word of the United Kingdom and all of the European Union. Not sign the peace. Okay, guys, I'm betting the farm on you. Okay, whatever. So he tells his people to get out of Istanbul, of Turkey, and they do not sign the agreement. They do not sign the peace agreement that was this close to end the war after only 4 weeks.
Wow.
Now we are 3 years after that. 3 years after that. And now Zelensky is seeing that the promise that Biden gave him and the promise that Boris Johnson gave him, by the way, both gone, is not materializing. He haven't been able to defeat Russia, to kick out the Russians. Putin still in power. They haven't break out Russia in 16 different little countries. They haven't been a coup in Moscow against Putin. They haven't taken over the country. Guys, you promised me, Biden, you promised me, Boris Johnson, you promised me that I will win this thing, and I am not winning. So he came here with the idea of making Trump accountable for that promise of Biden. That's why the war again is very black and white. Russia is bad. I'm good. Give me money. Give me weapons.
Yeah.
And then he found the wall of Trump. What are you talking about? Listen, that promise is over. Biden was an idiot. He gave you $350 billion. That's it. No more. I'm not Biden. What are you talking about? And that is the desperation that moved Zelensky from the very beginning to contradict Trump, to contradict and challenge Vance, to go against the
and he does it in front of the media, right, to try and pressure them, in the public forum, like that's going to make any difference with this president or this administration, and it's not. And I think that backfired tremendously, because he should have done it behind closed doors, not in front of cameras. And he miscalculated dearly. I don't know where this is going to go. I suspect he'll let him back to the table and sign.
I have been in diplomatic meetings, and when the doors are closed, then we talk back and forward. I did it with the Mexican government. Okay, we talk back and forward, and we exchange blunt views and whatever. But you don't do that in front of the cameras.
Right.
What he was trying to do. First of all, and you can see because many of the questions came to Trump, and Trump answered. But then before going to the next question, Zelensky, can I say something? Can I say something? He injected himself in the conversation that nobody was asking him. Putin is so bad. We need more weapons. Putin bad. I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want. That's it. He was desperate. He was trying to put the pressure, and then he came with the propaganda pictures. And showing pictures. Look how bad Putin is. Look, I don't know who the pictures are. I don't know. It works perfectly in Europe, where most of the people, either for the right and the left, are neocons, are globalists. In Berlin, it works perfectly. In Paris, it works perfectly. But that is not going to work with Donald Trump. It's not going to work with a true paleoconservative, America First president like Donald Trump. And that he was trying to put the pressure on the media and on Trump and bringing his case. We cannot make peace. We cannot make a deal. We cannot negotiate with Putin. Putin is bad. I'm good. Give me money. Give me air defenses. That's it. And that backfired terrible. And the person who broke listen, this is not going to work, was J.D. Vance. God bless him. Because he was over there observing the whole exchange for 50 minutes. My president is saying A is the way to go. And this dude, dressed like the Green Goblin over there, he's saying, contradicting here for 50 minutes. No, B is the way to go. A, B. Listen, stop it. President Zelensky, shut your mouth. We're trying to save your country. Enough. Just quit. And that basically was said.
It was amazing to see Marco's face and expressions during the whole thing. He didn't get a word in, but you could tell he was pissed. He was pissed because, realistically, probably the State Department led that whole situation.
Yeah.
And he said, they're ready. He's coming. We're going to sign it. There's going to be protocol bullshit, a picture op, and then it turns into a freaking circus. So he couldn't have been too happy. That's for sure. He didn't look like he was happy. And then, later in the press, he expressed his views pretty clearly. And I think he said, that deal's no longer on the table. That deal's gone.
No, it's gone. And Zelensky is gone. Forget about Zelensky. As far as the United States of America is gone, is concerned, he's gone. Listen, Marco, because he's the Secretary of
State,
he had the responsibility of the United States diplomacy. So I'm sure it was his office and ambassadors and all the diplomats who arranged this, who were behind, working furiously on all the details, the protocols, in coordination, obviously, with the White House executive office on the deal, etc. And Marco knew, even though he's very new to the job, he knows how these things go. You sit down over there, you smile, say, thank you, Mr. President, I'm honored to be here. Yeah, we're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to discuss. And thank you to be here. And that's it. You shut your mouth.
Right.
Don't say anything.
That's all he had to do. He just had to show up, shut the fuck up, say thank you very much, sign the fucking deal, and get the fuck out of the fucking town. Right? But no, he's a fucking clown.
When he saw that this green goblin, this puppet comes over there, the comedian comes over there and begins to talk and challenge for 50 minutes what Trump is saying, challenge on his face what the vice president is saying. Marco was, oh my God, this guy is just ruining everything. How can you be so stupid? How can you be so stupid? Just shut your mouth, just smile and say thank you, and that's it. So that face is a statement on the face of Marco Rubio. And the statement of Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, after the meeting, that's also an amazing, powerful statement.
Yeah.
Listen.
What does that mean? Because Lindsey Graham was a huge supporter of Zelensky this entire time. When Lindsey Graham breaks, what is that? What is he signaling there?
I mean, that means that the Russians are abandoning. Okay, listen. With respect, but it's true. Listen, we have the neocon party in Congress, okay? The neocons. I mean, mostly all of the left, all of the Democratic Party, and then we have the neocon globalist party in Congress on the right, too, on the center right. I mean, and we have Lindsey Graham, we have Cotton, we have Joe Wilson, we have so many neocons. There are furious neocons, okay? They are Russophobic, and we need to conquer the war, and war here, and war there, and bomb everywhere, and bomb there, and declare more wars, or whatever. And obviously, that faction is in opposition to the more paleoconservative, patriotic faction in Congress. I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm talking about Macy, Representative Macy. I'm talking about Senator Ron Paul. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm talking about these paleoconservative voices, patriotic MAGA voices inside the party, okay, that are confronting the neocons inside the Republican Party. Yeah. And basically, they know that one thing is what they want and their ideology and their black and white ideology of the war, good versus evil, and that's it. And there is no middle ground. There is nothing to analyze. There is no root cause of the war. There is nothing like that. They don't know what the Donbass is. They have no idea what Novorossiya is. They don't know anything like that. They only know they bad, we good. That's it. Just like Zelensky. So when they see that the ship is sinking, they see that now is Trump's game. There is a new sheriff in town,
Yeah.
and when they saw what Trump and Vance was strong. I mean,
Yeah.
I was very impressed with the performance of Vance.
Yeah.
So assertive, so confident, so in his viewpoint, his worldview. When they saw the president and the vice president are here, it's going to be political suicide for me to insist in a lost cause. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not a Japanese kamikaze.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or that I'm not going to do the harakiri to myself.
Yeah.
So I finally see that my ship is sinking. I need to jump from this boat, because if not, I'm going to sink with it. And that's what it means. The Lindsey Graham speech just immediately after the incident.
Yeah, that's amazing. We got to go to a break real quick, Ronnie. We'll be right back. Let's tee it up, Mr. Producer.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Whoa, dude, we just found out. Is that confirmed, David?
Yeah.
Lincoln Diaz-Balart just died. See if you can pull that story up. Oh, my God. What did he die from? What does it say?
No idea.
That's a shock for Florida. Yes.
Yeah, jeez. Statement on behalf of the family, Colin. Hold on.
Yeah, Jose.
It doesn't say what he died from, though, right?
No, it was just recent. Jose posted on Facebook.
Wow, bro. That's big news. That is big news. Lincoln was a long-time fixture in Congress and represented, obviously, the Cuban-American exile community here, and a defender of peace and freedom. One of the ardent figures in Congress fighting against communism and the left, and amazing.
A great loss for Florida and for the United States, of course, yes.
Yeah, amazing. I guess going back to Lindsey Graham and the sink of shipping, so you think Zelensky's done?
Well, as far as the United States, he's done. Okay. Listen, Trump don't want to help Zelensky anymore because he's very right. He told Zelensky several times, 2 times, 3 times, you are gambling with World War III. You are gambling with World War III. You're gambling with the life of hundreds of millions of people. So that's what Trump told Zelensky. So he doesn't have any interest in keeping this war, this playing with fire, with nuclear fire thing going on. Now, what Trump wanted is, listen, we have already invested, $100 billion, $200 billion, $300 billion, I don't know how many, billions and billions and billions of dollars in this stupid war, okay? So now we need to get something back. And if you want me to keep working with you, you want me to keep considering you as a partner or something, sign this mineral deal, okay? So we have something, at least something. So we are not giving you freebies, okay? We're not here the Salvation Army. We're not giving you things for free, okay? So give us something, sign this deal. And Zelensky, okay, I'm going to sign the deal, but I'm not going to sign it here in Kiev, like Trump wanted. Trump sent over there his representatives, so Zelensky signed the deal over there in Ukraine. No. I need to go to the White House. I want a ceremony with the president, then I'm going to sign it. Why? Because he wanted to use the opportunity, that's it, to do his propaganda tour, to do his brainwashing propaganda tour, like he had been doing 100 times, 300 times for the last 3 years. The same propaganda tour he had been doing in the United States, in Berlin, in Frankfurt, in Paris, in London, 100 times in Poland. So I need to sign this, but I need to sign it over there when all the cameras are on me so I can do my propaganda tour. But basically, he did not want to sign the deal neither. He just wanted to do the propaganda tour. That's it. And Trump said, listen, this is the first step for a deal. You don't want to do a deal. You have the wrong attitude. You have the tough guy attitude. You're a tough guy because of me. That's what Trump told him. I enabled you to be a tough guy. If not were for the United States weapons, this war will have been over in 2 weeks. Okay, so you're a tough guy because of me, but you have the wrong attitude. I am not in the war party anymore. Now I am in the peace party. You are in the war party. Your something in your mind doesn't compute. Doesn't.
There's some rumors about a possible coup or replacement of Zelensky in Ukraine. What do you think about that? I mean, I know you know that region pretty well.
It's possible. Everything is possible, especially when he keeps sending more Ukrainians to die for a useless cause right now. A cause that everybody knows that it's not going to win at all. Okay, so it's possible that the general get tired of sending the kids over there to die for nothing. Okay, that's possible. But again, Zelensky's in a bubble. He's in his brainwash bubble, his alternative reality, in his fake reality, and all the neocon globalist, brainless people from Europe, they are with him. Macron is with him, Starmer is with him, Scholz is with him. Now the new neocon guy who is coming to Berlin, Merz, is 1,000 times with him. All these guys are enabling Zelensky to leave and to reaffirm his alternative reality, fake reality, his bubble. And they're going to keep giving him billions and billions of dollars. Yesterday, the UK gave him $3 billion. £3 billion. And
well, you probably saw UK's prime minister yesterday, and the media tried to corner him to say that the alliance between the United States and UK was damaged or it was dead, and blah blah blah, and there's a new world order without the United States. And even though this prime minister is no friend of Trump, he didn't go there. He said very clearly the alliance and the ties between the United States and Great Britain are as strong as ever, and they will always continue to remain strong. Our intelligence are intertwined. Our relationships are intertwined. We are partners for life, and that'll never change. And I think that was very telling, man. That was very telling because they said, that meeting in UK with all the heads of Europe, what they were talking about was, and he said, the meeting was not about doing this without the United States. It was about how do we help the United States reach a peace agreement. So clearly signaling that Trump in the United States is leading in this. And I thought that was very important because I don't think any of them want to take on the United States right now. I don't think they need the United States. They don't have the muscle. They don't have the armies. They don't have the military strength to defend themselves. I think Germany has cut their forces to nothing. UK has virtually no army. The same with everybody else, right? Listen,
you're absolutely right. They can extend this for 6, 7, 8 more months, 9 months, depending. Okay, but without the United States, this is a lost cause. Okay, this is a lost cause. We are not only giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Zelensky. we're giving him real-time intelligence.
Yeah.
ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. We have satellite spies. We have spy drones. We're giving him JWICs, the planes, the spies planes, tracking in real time all the movement of the Russian Air Force. Everything that we go from the NRO, from the space, we give them immediately to Zelensky. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of civilians from the intelligence community over there in Ukraine, helping, supporting. Once that is over, the weapons, the money, we are paying for the salaries of the Ukrainian soldiers. We're paying for the salaries of the Ukrainian civil servants in the government. Once that is out and that intelligence is out, the Europeans can extend this for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, 10 months, whatever, but it's going to be a point when everything is going to crumble. The whole house of cards is going to come down. Now, I want people to understand this very clear. The war is divided. And when I say the war, I mean the West is divided into the United States, that is a paleoconservative nation, now tend to Trump, a pro-Christian civilization nation, and the globalist neocons of the post-Christian Europe, with the exception of Orban. With the exception of Orban from Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary, yeah.
All the rest, the center-right and the center-left of Europe, they are lost, okay? And so people understand me here in Florida, people understand me here in the United States, what I mean with that. Let's suppose that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden are the president of France and the president of the prime minister of the United Kingdom. And let's suppose that the most rhino guy that you can Mitt Romney is the president or the chancellor of Germany. That is the situation we have now. The center left of Europe, they hate Trump, just as Biden hates Trump, just as Kamala Harris hates Trump, just as all these, as Pocahontas hate Trump, yeah. Just as Schumer hates Trump, just like that. And they have the same exact ideology, worldview, values. These people from Europe, from the center left in London, Schulz right now in Germany, they all have the same values of these Biden, Kamala Harris, yeah. Schumer, Nancy Pelosi people. They hate Trump to the bone. Yeah. The only difference is that they are not in the U.S. Congress. They are president or prime minister of countries in Europe.
Yeah, and it's funny because they all hate him because Trump isn't giving them money, right? I mean, that's a reality. Trump has an America First policy
you need to
versus
see the Twitters, yeah. the tweets yeah. of these people when Trump was a candidate.
Yeah.
We need to oppose Trump. Trump yeah. is a racist. Trump is a xenophobic. Trump, yeah. We need to the war united against Trump. Now they want to hide those tweets, yeah. but tweets are there. That's what they really think about Trump. That's their position about Trump. They despise Trump. They dislike Trump. They completely. The only thing is that they cannot cancel him. If somebody in their own country says something like that, we support Trump. Zelensky is a clown. Zelensky is yeah. a puppet of the globalist. They immediately censor them. They immediately cancel them. They fine them. They might even put them in jail in their country. Yeah. But they can do that with Trump because Trump is the president.
And they do arrest people for social media posts.
Oh yeah.
So yes. Anything is possible.
Is a hate crime. Anything.
Everything. I mean, anything is possible from these guys. We saw David. I sent you a Tucker Carlson tweet or post. I don't know if you can pull that up somewhere, but it's interesting because he reads and he says one of the most striking. I don't know if you can find it, but it says one of the most striking things about yesterday's Zelensky press conference was Lindsey Graham reaction to it. The two are old friends, but Graham disavowed him within the hour.
Yeah, I have the video right here.
Oh, you have it?
I have the video right here.
All right, put it up. Let's hear it.
All right.
For you and for us.
So, what I think? Complete, utter disaster. I've been to Ukraine 8 or 9 times since the war started. I understand the consequences of Putin's actions against Ukraine. I appreciate what the Ukrainian people have done. They fought like tigers. At the end of the day, I was hoping that this mineral deal, which would be transformative in the relationship, would go over well. I talked to Zelensky this morning. Don't take the bait. President Trump was in a very good mood last night. Somebody asked me, am I embarrassed about Trump? I have never been more proud of the president. I was very proud of J.D. Vance, standing up for our country. We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again.
Wow.
I think most Americans saw a guy that they would not want to go in business with. The way he handled the meeting, the way he confronted the president was just over the top.
There you go. We're back. I mean, Senator Graham just said the same thing you said, Ron Aledo. Holy crap, dude. So he just pretty much killed. I think at this point, Zelensky's a dead man walking, right? He just said we can never go into business with him. We can never go back with him. He's done. He's done. It's over, right?
That's it. I mean, without the United States, the European neocons, the Mitt Romneys of Europe, and the Nancy Pelosi's of Europe, and all the neocons of Europe, the Bidens of Europe, can keep him on life support like a zombie.
But not for long.
For 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months.
You think they can do that long? They could keep him alive that long? You think
maybe they can keep him for 6, 7, 8 months. Maybe they. You
think
really
so? Huh?
Their money and their things. They can extend the war for some time, but it's basically useless. It's like a artificial life support. I mean, it's basically a zombie walking. Okay.
Here's the tweet by the post by Tucker, and he says one of the most striking things about yesterday's Zelensky press conference was Lindsey Graham's reaction to it that we just saw. The two are old friends, but Graham disavowed him within the hour. This was more than just transactional disloyalty. This was scapegoating. Lindsey Graham knows what's coming. Over the past 3 years, with the tacit support of his Western patrons, the Ukrainian government has committed a remarkable number of serious crimes. The Ukrainians sold huge quantities of American weapons on the international black market at 20 cents on the dollar. These weapons are now in the hands of armed groups around the world, including Hamas, the Mexican drug cartels, and forces now controlling Syria. God knows what the Ukrainians have done with the pathogens in American biolabs in their country. Even U.S. intelligence agencies aren't sure. The Ukrainians have also murdered a number of people in various countries in political assassinations and try to murder others, including American journalists and European head of state. This is all true, and it's all going to come out at some point. Better start blaming it on Zelensky now. Dude, those are fucking damaging words, man. That is a hell of an accusation. We have known about the arms thing going out the back door for a long time, and especially going to the cartels, because everybody has known that for a long time. Because somehow the cartels always find themselves in the middle of sweet deals, right? What do you think about that post by Tucker?
No, listen, it's absolutely possible. It's possible. I only comment on the things I see from the open sources. I don't have access to classified information right now. I only see from what I see in the open press on classified open sources. That's what I see. But for what I see on the open sources, on the classified media, that can be absolutely right. Maybe Tucker knows more than me. He has some kind of source that I don't have. But from the open sources strictly, this is absolutely possible. Listen, people need to understand Ukraine is a very poor country. Very, very poor country.
And very corrupt. And very corrupt. If not the most corrupt country in the world.
That makes it extremely corrupt. One of the most corrupt countries in Europe for many, many, many years, for decades, okay? People over there, if you want me to do something, give me the money. Then I might think about it. That's how they work. And they are corruption 101. I know corruption. I saw it in Afghanistan, okay? I saw it in Afghanistan. Sometimes we send them boots, $300,000, $500,000 in boots to the Afghan army. And those boots disappear. And suddenly some Chinese, very poor quality boots appear instead. the people took the American goods, they sold them in the market, they replaced it with very cheap Chinese goods, for example. This is an example. So you have an extremely corrupt country, very poor country, that now is receiving hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars coming in. And I'm sure there are many generals and government officials and ministers that, oh, this is a good way for me to do money now. And you have these powerful, super rich cartels in Mexico, in Colombia, in Mexico, that they're willing to pay a good money for all these weapons. So it makes absolutely good sense that these corrupt people in Ukraine are selling the most powerful weapons, the most military grade kind of weapons for good money to the cartel. It makes absolute sense, and that is the people who is bringing the fentanyl, and those are the people who are facilitating the people traffic, the human traffic and the drug traffic in the United States, thanks to the corrupt people in Ukraine.
So it sounds like, and all the signaling that we've heard from this administration, we heard Lindsey Graham say it as well. You said it. I said it last week. I said it on Friday. I said, I think I posted, dead man walking. He's done. He's fucking done. So what happens? So you're saying, okay, Europe can maybe prop him up another, 3-6 months. Who knows? There's some rumors about Europe trying to grab the $218 billion of Russian assets and banks and all that and using that to fund Ukraine. I think that would be a huge mistake because I think Russia would take that as a direct attack on them. They're not going to put up with that bullshit.
That's a very unlikely.
Yeah.
The fanaticism and desperation of these people is absolute. They know that they are losing and they're getting desperate.
Yeah.
So there might be some people, especially in the Baltic countries, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland. Those are the four most Russophobic countries in Europe and in the world. The three Baltics and Poland. So they might push for that. Maybe some voices will support them from the UK, but I see as a whole that is extremely unlikely because that's basically a declaration of war. When you take those assets that are the national assets of a country, it's like somebody taking the American asset, the Fort Knox gold or something. So it's a declaration of war, and nobody wants to get into that level, especially without the backing of the United States. The United States is out. The United States is doing a Pontius Pilate. I wash my hands. So without the backing of the United States, without the intelligence of the United States, without the logistic support of the United States, I don't really think it's possible. Everything is possible. It's possible, but I see it highly unlikely because there will be a direct confrontation with Russia.
I agree with that. We got to go to a commercial real quick, and we'll be right back.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
We're back. Don't forget promo code IGH, and get your discounts. Yes, let's do that. Where can people find you, Ronnie? I know you have a very good article out there on this issue, and you did a good piece on it, right?
Actually, I wrote an article back in January of 2023, 2 years ago, where I said Biden is risking and gambling with World War III, with nuclear war.
Yeah.
And that's basically the same words. Almost the same words that Trump told Zelensky on Friday, like 2 times, 3 times. You are gambling with World War III.
Well, you've been saying this since day one, since the war started. You were very public, very public against Ukraine. And everybody was like, whoa, what is he doing? Why is he siding with Russia? Why is he taking a side with Russia? And nobody really understood why.
I was siding with Trump. I was siding with Vance. I was siding with Tucker Carlson. I was siding with Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
That's what people understand from the very beginning. Listen, there is people that
they just don't know.
This is what amazes me. This is what amazes me very much. There are some patriots in this country, a lot of them, many patriots, okay? We won the election by a lot. But many of these patriots, MAGA people, they were very smart in understanding that everything that the left-wing propaganda media said about Trump is BS, okay? So that's BS. And Trump mocked the disabled guy, and Trump is colluding with Russia, and Trump wants to fire Liz Cheney in the squad, and Trump said that it's going to be a bloodbath in the streets of America. He loses. All that was propaganda. All that was BS. And a lot of patriots in this country, they knew that was propaganda and BS. Okay, everything that the CNN and these people said is just garbage, fake news. The sad part is that the same people, every time that Biden says something about Ukraine and Russia, and the same reporters of CNN and CBS and whatever say something about Russia, oh, that is true. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
That is the problem. They were very smart in figuring out the anti-Trump propaganda from the fake media.
Yeah.
And Biden. But then they were very naive in believing 100% like the gospel, every nonsense that came out of Biden and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi and everybody about Trump. Listen, understanding the root cause of this war is not being with Putin, it's being with Trump, it's being with Vance, it's being with Tucker Carlson. Why do you think they attacked so much and they hated so much when Tulsi Gabbard, an extraordinary, beautiful, amazing woman, was nominated to take the ODNI? Because she had the same position I have about Russia and Ukraine from the very beginning, from the very start. That's why the Democrats hate her to death. That's why they try to block her. Because we all, Tulsi Gabbard, Tucker Carlson, Trump, Vance, myself, humbly included, we all have the same vision and the same policy about this. And this is why the Democrats and the liberals are so furious and so angry with those nominations.
No, and you were very early. Right at the beginning when this started, I remember people saying, dude, what is wrong with Ron? Why is he siding with Putin? He's siding with Putin. And I said, I don't think he's siding with Putin. I think he's calling out Ukraine for what it is, a very corrupt country and a very a fucked up situation over there, and he's just calling balls and strikes. That's all he's doing. He's not siding with Putin, But there's a lot of history back there, right, between Ukraine and Russia.
It's a long history. Again, what people need to understand, and I don't want to make I mean, we have short time.
Yep.
I don't want to deep into this. This is basically a civil war. Okay. Just like the United States have a civil war, the North and South, this is a civil war between Ukrainians. Because the people from the North and West Ukraine, that people, they hate Russia, they dislike Russia, they don't speak Russian, they do not belong to the Russian Orthodox Church, they don't have family in Russia, they see themselves as Europeans, they want to be members of the club of the European Union, of the globalists, of Poland. Many of them have Polish heritage and Hungarian heritage. They don't want to see anything. They don't want anything to do with Russia. But the problem is that just like there are millions and millions of Ukrainians in the North and the West, there are millions and millions and millions of Ukrainians in the South and the East of the country that see themselves as Russian, that speak Russian, that have family in Russia, that they belong to the Russian Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You have two sides that are, they are completely opposite world views of what Ukraine is, of what Ukraine should be, and you have them with the only thing that united people is the passport, the same passport. But other than that, they have a completely different, opposite world view. And Biden and Obama before him in 2014, and all the globalists of Europe, they were supporting the Ukrainians of the North and the West. And Russia was supporting from the very early the Ukrainians of the East and the South.
So that country's going to split. That country's going to break up, right?
Yes. I mean, that's it. I mean, according to what Russia wants, I mean, and again, all this could have been prevented in March of 2022 in Istanbul, Turkey.
Amazing.
If Zelensky would have signed that peace agreement on March of 2022 in Istanbul, Turkey.
You got that post?
But again, Biden came, no, do not sign, fight until the last Ukrainian. He sent Boris Johnson in a desperate flight to Kiev to persuade him not to sign the agreement.
And here's a truth from Donald Trump. He says this is the worst statement that could have been made by Zelensky, and America will not put up with it for much longer. It is what I was saying. This guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as he has America's backing and Europe. In the meeting they had with Zelensky, stated flatly that they could not do the job without the U.S. Probably not a great statement to have been made in terms of a show of strength against Russia. What are they thinking, right? And it's and you go underneath there and it says, Ukraine, Zelensky says end of war with Russia is very, very far away. So this guy doesn't want peace. This guy doesn't want peace.
That's the cause of the fight. That we saw in the White House. Two completely opposite views. Trump wants peace. Trump wants to stop. Trump wants to be a peacemaker, a mediator. And this guy just came with his same BS that he has been spreading the war for the last 3 years. Russia back, me good, white and black war, give me more money. That's it. That's what caused this fight on the White House a few days ago. The two completely opposite views of Trump and Zelensky. And now, again, the Europeans are going to give him on life support for, 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months maybe, whatever. But he's basically a dead one walking. He's a zombie walking, okay? Yep. And very soon, in 5, 6, 7, 8 months, the corpse is going to be for everybody to see, okay? And then Ukraine is going to be breaking down. And Russia is going to come with a lot harsher measures, a lot harsher measures than the one Russia requested on March of 2022 in Istanbul, Turkey.
Yep. Hey, Ronnie, it's always a pleasure to have you, man. You're an encyclopedia. You're the professor when it comes to foreign policy and intelligence. We need, keep coming back, brother. We love you on the show. Nobody calls balls and strikes better than you do. And where can they find you? Where can they follow you? I know you have a YouTube channel as well.
Yes, they can follow me in X, in Twitter, Ron Aledo, XCI Contractor, and also in YouTube, Ron Aledo, XCI Contractor. So you can follow me in Twitter or in YouTube, Ron Aledo, XCI Contractor. And as always, thank you very much for the opportunity that you give me here to talk to everybody who listens to the show, that I know is a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, we just got the rankings. We're, in the top 200, 127. Hopefully we're going to break the top 100 this month. So we're excited with awesome guests like yourself, of course. So I appreciate it, Ronnie. We'll talk offline. I'll send you the link later. Take care.
Thank you. We'll see you.
All right, guys. Hopefully you got a better view of the Russia-Ukraine situation. It looks like Zelensky's going to be dead. I'm not saying somebody's going to kill him, but he's dead. He's done. I mean, he committed harakiri himself. It doesn't appear like there is a path to recovery for him. Okay, we're waiting on a guest real quick, but let me see what he says. That situation is ongoing. I don't know how he's going to recover. There have been some rumors about regime change and maybe even a coup in Ukraine. And there we go. So that situation is gonna unravel itself and come to conclusion. We talked a little bit about earlier about the death of a former Congressman Lincoln Diaz-Balart here in Florida. Mr. Producer, I don't know if you have any pictures of that. A dear man, congressman, father. He was a leader. He, really stepped up along with his brother Mario, who now serves in his seat actually in Congress. But they started in the Florida legislature, and then Lincoln followed into the U.S. House of Representatives, and he became the chairman of the Rules Committee, which, as most people know, is a very, very powerful committee. But he was a very strong supporter of freedom and democracy, especially in Latin America when there was that big wave of communism into the left, and supported a lot of the free trade agreements that helped push in the early 2000s. And in the past, with the government of Peru and Colombia, with Plan Colombia, and with Peru, something called ATPA, which was the Andean Trade Promotion Act, and then it became the ADTPA DEA, which was the Andean Trade Promotion Drug Eradication Act, and pretty much giving Peru free trade status for the U.S. And with Plan Colombia, same thing with Colombia, in order to help these economies, pull out of misery and disaster, in order to try and fight not only drugs but also the terrorism and violence that was going on in those countries. And he passed away, and it's a shame. We're trying to get somebody who knew Lincoln very, very well. Is he on yet?
No.
Okay.
No,
So, we can talk about a little bit about his history, how he started, some of the important things that he did. And, this gentleman is a Cuban-American, good friend, Jorge Arrizurieta. He's, been in Florida politics for a long, long time. And let's see if he joins. He said he's trying to join. He is technically challenged, as I always tell him. Him and technology are like oil and water. But let's see if we can get him on. So, anyways, as we figure that out, we'll give him a minute. If not, we'll just cut this off, and and it is what it is. But yeah, Lincoln was a great guy. He served alongside with Ileana Ross-Layton, who was a chair for over 20 years in Congress. And I think Lincoln retired with 18 years in Congress, and then went off to put an organization together to really promote, democracy and freedom throughout the hemisphere. And just a good guy. But, his father was also involved. I mean, his brother, some of you guys probably know, his other brother, Jose Diaz-Balart, which is on MSNBC. But, they've been active in public and political life for a long time. And it's a shame to see, Lincoln pass away. Let's see. He says he's joining. You see him coming in?
No, nothing.
All right, I think we're going to have to call it a day here. But anyways, so like we always say, you can find us on Rumble. You can find us now on YouTube as well. We decided to open up YouTube now that it's no longer cancel culture and censoring. They had put us with 2 strikes because we happened to talk about the election in 2020. But obviously Trump winning, that's changed. So we've opened YouTube up again. We had a tremendous following and they killed it. Same thing at Facebook. We had put them on. We had over 150,000 followers on a daily basis over there, and they killed it. So who knows? But there he is, Jorge Arrizurieta, the great one. Jorge, welcome to the show, pal.
Thank you so much. I was having some technical difficulties coming on.
No, I was telling the audience, man, I was telling our buddies that you're like oil and water when it comes to technology, that I always give you shit about that. And I know you were going to find I was going to make you grin in this very sad moment because our friend Lincoln Diaz-Balart passed away. I don't know how much you know about it. It caught us totally unexpected. I didn't know he was sick, or it doesn't say the cause of death or anything, but a shame. I was hoping that you could share with us, your relationship with him, your experience with him. He was a longtime Florida guy like you. You guys have been together in so many battles and so many fights. I got to know him, in the early 2000s, very, very closely. When we were negotiating the free trade agreements with Peru and Colombia and all that. And he was very much involved, like I said earlier, with ATPA, with the Indian Trade Promotion Act, and then the ATP DEA, which was the Indian Trade Promotion Drug Eradication Act. And he was, one of the main fighters and defenders of pushing that FTA with Peru and the U.S. and so many other things that he's done. Hopefully you can shed some light on his background, some history, and the stage is all yours, pal.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. It is indeed a sad day. As I understand it, Lincoln, I probably had lunch with him, actually on, you might recall this, on our project at Americano Media. Probably been now a year and a half, maybe a little bit more than a year and a half. It was a lunch I had with him and Ileana, former Congresswoman Ross Layton, and I felt that he was slowing down a little bit. Is all I could say. Just got that feeling. Maybe it was 2 years ago because it was right at the beginning of our process. But anyway, and I understand he died from cancer, but I thought he also had Parkinson's.
Wow.
So I think he got pretty sick there towards the end of his life, which is a shame. A guy so such a patriot, such a strong force, and such a strong voice for freedom and democracy, and all the things that you could have expected would be represented by a member of this incredible family. But Lincoln must have not been more than mid-70s, if I were to guess. I haven't looked at the exact date, but for today's age, it's way too young.
Yeah.
So it's a real loss. It's a real shame. He was the second, most important member of Congress to come into power, if you will, from that era. So the first was Ileana Ross Layton, who, as you recall, was the first Cuban American woman.
Yeah.
And Lincoln joined her not much after that, and was an incredible partner to her, a much needed partner to her, and a phenomenal source of Ileana's success, admitted by her all the way through the time that she becomes chair of Foreign Relations, and then obviously the many years she had as a very successful chair of Foreign Relations was with Lincoln as her wingman, incredible partner. And what really was important to Lincoln was freedom and democracy, as I mentioned, for, needless to say, his homeland, Cuba, and Nicaragua and the rest of the countries in the hemisphere who have fallen under this regretful situation. But he was always an early advocate for doing the right thing as it related to immigration. I don't know if you remember that, especially when it wasn't popular, right? Because this immigration issue has taken a very interesting evolution, as all issues do, especially when they don't get resolved and they keep getting tossed down the road, right? But Lincoln fought for this issue during a time where the issue of immigration was a very different issue than it is today. And I think he deserves an enormous amount of gratitude and credit for having done the right thing during all that time. Needless to say, you mentioned free trade, and he was among our strongest partners during the Florida FTA effort that we led for Governor Bush. And needless to say, the strongest member as it related to the bilateral free trade agreements, whether it was Peru or Colombia or
Panama,
any CAFTA, back to NAFTA, if you will.
Yeah, even NAFTA, right?
Edition of NAFTA,
Yeah.
right. So that was when free trade was not a curse word like it is today, right? That's when free trade was a very popular, kind of objective.
Well, it served its purpose at the time, right? And I still think it serves its purpose now. I think what Trump is trying to do is just trying to make it a little bit more balanced, right? But
yeah, it's just a different time, because the irony of some of these free trade agreements was that they were great agreements for America and Americans, and somehow, because of the union opposition, they got perceived to be anti-American. And that was the greatest shame, because they were not. They were not bad agreements for America, Americans, and American business people. Could they have been better? Sure, they can always be better. I've always believed, I think I've told you this 100 times, I don't know that we could have done a worse thing to call free trade, because the only thing that it's not is free.
Yeah.
And I think it gets everybody on a defensive mode, because you're defending and protecting your own. And free trade is I think, a total misnomer. It should have been called enhanced trade, or who knows what it should have been called. But free, it's just not impossible. It's not.
That's
it
right.
Isn't free. It never's free. Nothing's free.
That's right.
Right.
But
anyway, back to Lincoln.
And exactly. I wanted to kind of bring you back to Lincoln on the democracy thing. I remember he would hold rallies here in Miami with the Hispanic community, the exile communities of Cuba, Venezuela, Peru, Colombia, whoever, whenever they were facing, presidential elections in their countries, and they had a left wing or a communist candidate. And he would come out and be very, very vocal. I remember him in, shit in the 90s and the 2000s, with the different countries, really, really being vocal and present and rallying, the communities that were here, to make sure that they understood the difference and voted correctly, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Lincoln was, and consequently became, after so many years, he served almost 30 years in the U.S. House. He became the father of all things freedom and democracy, in his help towards leadership, no matter what leadership of the time, no matter who was Speaker of the time, there was a constant reliance on Lincoln Diaz-Balart, who was the stalwart who would actually, always carry the banner, lead the effort, and pave the way and fight the fight, like you're saying, fight the good fight when nobody else was willing to fight it, against communism, against any hint of communism, or any iteration, any version of it under a fancy new name. He was very clear and unequivocal about his fight for what was always right. And again, it's different. It's very different political times. Not that issue's changed at all, but it was a much lonelier fight back then when he started this. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. There wasn't the amount of universal support, even bipartisan support, that you sometimes see on this issue. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. So he was a pioneer of sorts, and really, as a result, a patriot for always pushing back and having zero tolerance towards anything that got tried to be inserted by calling it something else, and he would always call bullshit on it, if you will. For that, he developed a great reputation. Was a phenomenal leader, and he to a degree, it's interesting because he almost sacrificed leadership roles for his deep ideological belief and commitment because it's not that he was just a one-issue guy, but he was so committed to this issue that he probably was so obsessively supportive and loyal to it that some would argue along the way that if he would actually dedicate a little bit more time to pick an issue, transportation, infrastructure, maybe he would get greater opportunities to rise in leadership. And he never ever wavered on this because he was so committed to the issue. And some would argue, depending on how you view this, that he gave up, very significantly powerful roles in Congress for being so dedicated to this issue.
Yeah. And he was a powerful speaker, man. I'm trying to get our producer here to see if he can pull up any speeches on the House floor on democracy or freedom or anything like that. But he brought passion. Remember how he used to talk, and he was one of those guys, man.
The expression of the banging of the podium,
yes,
I think was absolutely unequivocally instituted by A. Diaz-Balart.
Yeah.
I'm sure. If it wasn't Lincoln, it was his father, his late father, who was, as you know, another institution eminence in Cuba's political process. He was actually Speaker of the Cuban.
Did we lose him?
I don't know.
Well, see if you got a video of Lincoln. Just put it up.
Yeah, I have something.
All right, put it up so people can see him.
Mr. Speaker. From Florida. Mr. Speaker. To what purpose does the gentleman from Florida rise?
I ask unanimous
really
consent to speak for 5 minutes out of
you
order.
could just see him getting
There he is,
fired up.
there he is.
It would take a minute, a second minute of the speech. By the third minute of the speech, boy, he's going for broke.
Yeah, look at him. We got a speech right now. Put it up there. Let's see it.
Mr. Speaker, in recent weeks, we have seen the issue of the Western Sahara receive a great deal of coverage in the world press. Unfortunately, the press coverage has often been biased. In fact, I've seen cynical attempts at purposeful disinformation. I think it's important that we remember history. Let's not forget that while the Sahara was under Spanish colonial rule, only Morocco laid claim to that territory as its own. The Kingdom of Morocco repeatedly claimed the Western Sahara and demanded the end of Spanish colonial rule. It was only when Morocco's efforts at recovering the Sahara from Spanish colonialism under the leadership of King Hassan II began to be seen as making serious progress in the early 1970s.
See if you can find something else.
That the so-called Polisario Front came into being.
Yeah, that was a Lincoln. That's a Lincoln I remember, bro.
Maybe that's not the most fiery of them all.
Yeah. That's why I told him to go look for him.
It reminds me of an incredibly important attribute that we should not oversee and really, and walking through, if you will, Lincoln's political life, public life, is he was an incredibly articulate man, incredibly well read.
Super smart, man. Super
incredibly smart. Not to mention incredibly politically savvy, but just a historian, if ever was one.
To make a statement
Of world history, well, not limited to Latin America or Cuba, but really of world history, and that tidbit just reminded me of that, which I'm so glad we didn't forget mentioning because he deserved a lot of credit. He was always, even when he was in the Florida legislature, I remember him giving these incredibly articulate speeches that half of the room was lost. I hate to say, just because they were not equal historians like to the level he was, but he just carried on and incredible, just really a rare, sort of a rarity in politics down here, and really among the reasons why he made such a great team member with Congresswoman Chairwoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen is because that was not Ileana's style. Ileana was just really an incredibly good politician, great operative, great people person. So they would really balance each other so well.
Put that first one up there, Mr. Producer. Yeah, the ladies in white, that was a passionate one.
Objection. Mr. Speaker, the ladies in white are a group of wives, mothers, sisters, and daughters of Cuban political prisoners. The group came together after the arrests of 75 Cuban dissidents in April 2003. 75 Cuban political prisoners who 7 years ago joined the thousands of others who are in prison in Cuba because of their political beliefs or for crimes that are only crimes in a country brutally oppressed by a totalitarian regime of gangsters, by gangsters, and for gangsters. Because that is what the Castro brothers are, gangsters. Fidel Castro has been a gangster ever since he was a juvenile delinquent. He became a communist to give ideological clothing to his gangsterism. Raul Castro came to gangsterism via Marxism-Leninism, after his brother sent him as an almost illiterate adolescent to then Czechoslovakia, where he received a rigorous indoctrination in Marxism-Leninism. So the brothers arrived at gangsterism via separate paths, but they are both experienced and ruthless practitioners in the most violent and brutal forms of gangsterism. The ladies in white experience the tactics of the Castro's gangsterism every single day. The Castro's state security apparatus pays and trains thugs to strike fear in the hearts of all Cubans.
Next up, you got another video in there teed up, right?
Yeah.
He was great, wasn't he, man? Dude, I loved Lincoln, man. I remember when I was the president of the chamber back in 2003, 2005, we gave him an award for his undeniable friendship and fighting side by side for, those free trade agreements and especially for the fight, anti-drugs, the anti-drug fights, in the region. Tee it up. Let's see which one we got here.
To make a statement.
Here we go.
Enough is enough. Enough of these bailouts so that millionaires can become billionaires and billionaires can give their cronies bonuses with taxpayer dollars. Enough is enough. And we can vote on it right now.
That's Lincoln, bro. That is Lincoln Diaz-Balart right there. He was a fucking badass, dude.
What was the issue there?
That was on the bailouts of the banks and all that crap. Remember when the collapse happened? And he was anti the bailout. I remember, like so many of us were,
That's right.
But they bailed him out. The whole, package at the end of Bush that Obama pushed, right? The stimulus, the porculus bill. The porculus bill.
That's right. I was
porculus bill that I can't remember how fucking
right
it was insane. It was like almost $1 trillion, and then they fucking rammed his omnibus bill right behind it for another 300 or 400 billion. It was insane, dude. It was all laced with pork for Democrats. I don't know how that fucking shit went through, man. But Lincoln was right. He was right on. He was right then, and he was, he was
always
right.
like good sausage making. That's the way it happens, right?
Yeah. What a shame, bro. What a shame. His brother Mario obviously sits in his seat. I think he's doing a good job, right?
Yeah, and he is a little different style, but as far as unequivocal behavior, clarity. He's no different. I mean, he's really been a member who's really, delivered. First of all, I've been loyal, no different than his brother was to his community. Never has wavered.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, has had a role in leadership outside of the traditional issues. Let's call those, for lack of a better word. Like he is the chair of infrastructure under transportation, which is an incredibly powerful role because he chairs the budgetary aspect of all that. It's an incredibly powerful role, and it's almost like he decided to go a route a little different because he didn't want to be the one issue guy, but rather be a much more effective member, a much more powerful member, and that's what he's done. Mario's done a phenomenal job. And all things being equal, he'll be in that seat till he wishes, and currently is in probably the most powerful role he's ever been in the committee that he's serving in. And it's just by taking the same commitment, if you will, to the core issues, but just varying, dedicating a little bit of time outside of the traditional issue, which I think is
All right, I think we lost him. Yep, we lost him. Well, we'll call it a day here. We'll call it a day. Hopefully you guys learned a lot on the Russian-Ukraine, and, we try to do this, off the cuff, on the fly, finding out that, our old friend Lincoln had passed away, trying to at least memorialize a little bit about him. There he is. He's back. We're about to shut it down. Jorge, any last words on Lincoln? I saw Jose just posted something on X. I think everybody's kind of... It's going to be interesting several days. I think the rest of the week here in Miami, right? It's going to be all about Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean it's a great family. It's a great set of siblings. With Rafa being the oldest, who's the businessman, if you will. Jose being next in line, having been a career news guy. And been very, very successful at it, which is not an easy challenge based on his ideology, right? And finally, we've had Mario, which is the youngest, who has followed in Lincoln's footsteps and done an extraordinary job. So I'm sure the three of them this week are going to be quite busy paying a tribute in memory of his brother, their brother, who really left such an amazing legacy for the rest of the family and for the community forever. So it's a sad moment. It's also a great celebration of a great life dedicated to the cause of freedom and democracy that we should we're going to miss eternally, but again, we should just take the opportunity to celebrate it because we owe him a hell of a debt of gratitude for all the great things he did.
I think the entire hemisphere does, without a doubt. I don't think anybody can debate that. The other thing, Jorge, is he fought so hard to see a free Cuba, and I think we're real close. I think with this administration, it could possibly happen. It's a shame he's not going to get to see it.
Amen. From your mouth to God's ears. Amen.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. It's always a pleasure. We got to sit down and talk politics. We haven't done that in a little while. So I'll talk to you offline. We'll get you scheduled. And there's so much to talk about, man. And going back to Make America Florida. Wow, has that come to fruition or what? Jesus,
my Lord, it's happened. It really is happening. That's for sure. It's incredible. I mean, no surprise, but never thought it would have been to this magnitude.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. I mean,
well, we got to set it up. We got to talk about that. Make America Florida has happened, and what does that mean? How do you see the next 4 years and all that? Let's get you booked. Hopefully this week, if we can.
You got it. We'll get it done.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. There it is, man. That's the show. It's a wrap. You know where to find us. Rumble, YouTube, and on every single podcast platform. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Spreaker, Stitcher, Pandora, Amazon Music, Audible. I don't know. There's a million podcasts, Podbean. I don't know. There's like a bazillion of these. But we'll see you tomorrow. By the way, I have been talking to you guys about having the pot lobbyist. He is scheduled for this Friday, so we're going to talk about what is going on with the cannabis marijuana lobby in Congress. Is it going through? Is it not going through? Is it ever going to go through? Is it good? Is it bad? What are the pros? What are the cons? We'll have an open, like all of our conversations, very open dialogue. If you guys have any questions, shoot them over, and we'll see you tomorrow.